Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Dame Armiger, Ranya. My heart and my sword are yours. I am going to very quickly load my game, not because this title screen music isn't lovely, but because I have been listening to it for the last several minutes, and I've had quite enough. Alright, hi! Good evening to you all, or happy time zone, whatever part of the world you happen to be in. I see we have Rain in the chat, and we have Mortham, my, the latest addition to my jar of hearts, perhaps? Hello, everyone. But yes, this is the second stream this week, second stream this month, I think. I can't even remember the last time I streamed before this. It was probably like one of the collaborations. Was it with In Other Waters with Many, the Lycantics? However long ago that was. But yeah, Tuesday I streamed this game. This is Stories from Seoul, The Gun Dog, a visual novel in a very classy sort of PC 98 style. I have been quite enjoying it thus far. We had kind of an aborted action scene at the beginning where our protagonist was going to be piloting a armored frame against the hegemonic forces of Terra, of Earth. But due to a mechanical malfunction on the docking clamps that were anchoring the mech to the carrier ship, the protagonist did not get to join the engagement. This ended up being to her benefit, though, possibly saved her life, because there was an ambush by the defending forces, and most of the fighters who dispatched from that ship were wiped out. The protagonist thus has a fair bit of trauma from that episode, and has some years later signed aboard a different vessel in the fleet in a different role. She is now a security officer aboard this craft, the JFS Gun Dog. We have really thus far only walked around the ship, getting introduced to the various crew members. The most important of which, perhaps, to our endeavors this evening, is Cassandra, who is our protagonist's girlfriend, who has pulled strings in the operations and personnel channels of the fleet to get the two of them assigned to the same vessel. We've not capitalized upon this opportunity as yet. She was very heavily flirting at us, like, "Hey, why don't we go get reacquainted in my cabin?" But I was like, "Wait, we have to go meet the captain. I just came aboard. It's like my duty as security officer at this stage of the game to go meet the captain." Actually, I'm gonna do a very little bit of nudging that volume down. Okay. Yeah. Now, I'm sure if Adulath were in the driver's seat for this game, we would have made different decisions. I'm sure we would have simply taken Cassie up on her offer right away, but that was not the case. Did I hear my name? Was I called? Not at all, my friend. Well, I'll be here when you need me. Right. So, that is in fact where we left off. We just met the captain. The captain gave us kind of a bored little spiel of like, yes, okay, welcome aboard the Gundog, blah blah blah. We're on a very urgent mission, so let's get on with it, kind of thing. There's but one crew member we did not meet yet before I ended last stream, and that is Vanessa, who is also aboard the bridge here, a friend of Cassie's, but yeah, so that's where we will roll, I guess. Our fleet, our sympathetic side in the conflict are the Jovian something. Jovian... I keep wanting to say sovereignty, but that's a thing from the Lancer game that I'm running. It's not the sovereignty, Jovian something. And the Europa and Mars, those are all on the same side against Earth. The war is currently at a truce, but there are rumblings that something big is going to happen soon. More meta-wise, I was listening back to my VOD. Audio and everything seemed lovely. I did a bunch of technical tinkering in between streams to get some more of my old features back online. So I have expressions again, and I can get bonked on the head again. I don't have any channel points or anything like that on YouTube, so I don't know under what circumstances I would employ those things, like the bonking and head patting and whatnot, but at least in response to things in game, I can make faces now. I can even, maybe like when we climb into the mech or something, I can armor up. Right, yeah. All those features coming back online. I did realize that I've also been in a pattern of talking very fast, which is kind of unusual for me. So I'm gonna try to scale that back a little bit, try to be a little bit more my measured, calm, put the audience to sleep self. But we'll see if I can keep that up, trying to get through all the text in this game. Enough preamble, let's dog some guns. So, there's the captain, there's Cassie, and Vanessa, whom we have not yet checked in with. So, I'm gonna talk with Vanessa next. And right off the bat, I need to think what sort of voice should I give Vanessa? She looks like a nerd. Excuse me, Lieutenant. I'm currently on duty, so I would appreciate it if you did not disturb me. Lieutenant Lord, Lieutenant Ranya is the ship's head of security. Since I'm here, you can take the time to introduce yourself formally. Great, I got this. See you in 5. So you're the security officer Cassandra's been going on about. That's right, Lieutenant Ranya. Pleased to meet you. Well, I'm Vanessa Lord. I serve on the bridge as part of operations. Cassandra's told me a lot about you. Is that right? What kind of... I'm disappointed that you're nowhere near as attractive as she made you out to be. Oh. Is that... right? I thought it was too good to be true. that some dashing officer would be transferred here at the last moment. Instead, we just got another lunk. Well, how was it you even got transferred here on such short notice? I was looking over your records earlier, and you were mid-assignment on the Duke. Why would they transfer you instead of... Whoa, hey, look at the time. I think your break's over. Lieutenant Commander Quinn, I think Vanessa needs to get back to her station. Of course. I hope this is the start of a productive working relationship between the two of you. Vanessa, I'll catch up with you later, okay? Okay, well, that was cordial? Question mark? I'm going to amble on... Actually, wait, we should look around the bridge. I don't think I've really gotten a chance to peek at what's going on the bridge just yet. With the exception of some physical controls, a ship the size of the Gundog can be controlled entirely from the bridge. Navigation, automated combat systems, security measures, you name it. It can all be done by a few crew members in this room. We will now adjourn to a rousing game of Artemis Starship Bridge Simulator. Let's get it now. The bridge is one of the few places on any ship where you can actually see out into space. During combat, these windows are covered by blast shutters, and the bridge crew rely on sensors and small cameras mounted on the ship's exterior. That's the captain's chair. Although the majority of the ship can be controlled by the operations staff, there's a few select systems that only the captain can authorize, and they're all done from that chair. You need a captain's clearance level to access them, though, so it's not like you can just sit down and activate them. Okay, and that's just a repeat of the dialogue, or the description from the other side of the room. So we are good to go. Let's move back to the central hub. Talk with Cassandra, now that we have completed our immediate objective. You know, it's kind of funny now that I think about it. What is? This area is called the Central Hub, but to be honest, the only places you can get to straight away from here are the airlock, sickbay, or the bridge. Well, it's right in the middle of the ship, so it connects everything together via the two thoroughfares, right? Kind of. But if you want to get to engineering to do some mechanical work, you've got a long way to go that way. Then if you want to do pretty much anything else, you've got to go the other way. The four-side thoroughfare is way more of a hub, since you can get to all sorts of places really quickly. Get some snacks from the mess hall to take back to your quarters? Easy. If you want a quick soda whilst taking audit in the hangar, you're there and back in no time. I should move the bridge to the front of the ship. It sounds to me like you just want a vending machine on the bridge. Hey, that's not a bad idea. But still, it's a long way to get to the other end of the ship no matter where you're going from. How would you solve that problem? Maybe change the shape of the ship so the center is really the center? Yeah, most of the characters are pretty cute. This is our canonical girlfriend, so maybe we'll get to, I don't know, get some hands-on with the cuteness. It's space, so you could make it a really efficient shape, like a cube or something. A cube? I guess it could be efficient, but I don't think anyone would take a cube-shaped ship seriously. Casual dig at Star Trek The Next Generation and onward. Well, let's give that a try, shall we? Now that we've seen to our duty, go to four-side thoroughfare, crew quarters, corridor 2, Cassie's quarters. Oh gosh. Oh, by the way, if you ever want... See? Right? Yeah. Mortham, you and Aderlath are of a mind. I'm just like way too responsible. I'm like, yes, it is very important to get to the smooching, but not getting in trouble with the captain comes first. Oh, by the way, if you ever want access to my quarters, the passcode for the lock is 0211. It's pretty much the same passcode I use for everything. 0211. Got it. Alright, as Kali carefully takes notes, okay. 0211, very important. That's right, it's... your naval ID, our anniversary, or your lucky number. I don't think it's naval ID. That probably wouldn't even be allowed to have that be the same thing. Yeah, oh yeah, Cassandra is a walking poor security practice. Her, like, intro dialogue was her talking about how she failed a security drill on the last ship that she crewed by updating the passwords with a single-digit numeric increment. She just bumped up the last number of the passwords by one, and the codes were, like, immediately cracked during the drill, and she got in trouble. So, that said, I don't think she would use the naval ID. But she would absolutely do something like use the anniversary with her and the girlfriend as a passphrase. So I'm gonna guess that one. Also, it's cute if I'm right, and funny if I'm not. So... come on, you didn't think I'd forget, did you? Hey, good job! Oh wait! Before you go in, can you give me a few minutes just to tidy the place up? I was almost late for my duty shift this morning, so it's kind of a mess. Let me put some stuff away, okay? Yeah, sure. Keeping herself between you and the entrance to her room, Cassandra opens the door using the control panel to its right. As it opens, she swiftly steps through, and before it's even all the way open, closes it again using the panel on her side of the entrance. The entire time, she obstructs your view of her quarters. Thanks! I won't be long, promise! Oh, what's that song? She's a mess like me, No, I'm thinking of, what's the one? I like that you're lonely like me. Maybe that makes me a fool. Yeah, alright. That one. I like that you're broken like me. A few minutes pass, and you continue to stand gingerly outside of Cassie's quarters. You hear the occasional footsteps coming from the foreside thoroughfare, but they all move on to other parts of the ship. Thankfully, no one stops by to ask why security is lurking outside one of the operations officer's quarters. Official business, I'm sure. Brower. Are you questioning me, cadet? Security matters. Hey, Cassie? You give the door a gentle knock. Leaning against the wall, continuing to remain on lookout for anyone who may have some questions about what you're doing out there. How's it going in there? Oh, yeah. Almost done. Just give me a minute to get this sorted out and... That last pause is followed by a loud bang and the sound of a small cascade of various objects onto the floor. Okay, maybe a few more minutes. You sigh and step back from the door. If anyone asks, you can always tell them that you're doing spot checks for contraband or something similar. Done. Come in. It's still a mess. Oh no. Welcome. Make yourself at... As you step through the door frame, the toe of your boot catches on a discarded pair of leggings which are held in place by your other foot. As you begin to fall over, you reach out to catch onto something to stop yourself. Unfortunately, the chair you reached out for has a uniform thrown over the backrest, which slips as you grab it, bringing both the chair and the assortment of cosmetics on the seat clattering down to the floor with you. Oh no! Callie, are you okay? I'm sorry, I thought... Cassie... Yes? I thought you said you were tidying this place up. I was. Then why did I just get brained by a falling hairdryer? Best thing I had. There was a system. You get back to your feet and right the chair, as Cassie quickly grabs the assorted bottles and tubes that fell down with you, placing them randomly back on any nearby surface. You almost launch into a speech about securely stowing possessions in case of high-speed maneuvers, but you stop yourself. Doesn't the captain ever carry out spot checks or surprise inspections? No, it's great. From what I've heard, her quarters are worse state than mine. Is that right? So we've got a few examinable objects. Like everything else in this room, the terminal appears to be in use as extra storage space. Even the chair's covered in stuff. Since Cassie's in operations, you'd think she'd make more use out of her terminal than anyone else on board. But I can't see how she uses it like this. Are those printed photographs? Aren't those cool? They're from our first date at the Europa amusement park. I took my Pixie Cam straight to a specialist printers the next day and got copies made. I even wrote the date on the back, so I'd never forget our anniversary. Oh, look at us. It's so close to being perfect. Like, I just want to mod the game to give me green eyes and then we're good to go, right? Cassie looks like a kid in this picture. Security Officer Ranya, are you robbing the cradle up in here? Well, such is the life of a cougar aboard ship. Well, I never... Oh, wait, no, this is me. Wow, I never knew you were that sentimental. I knew I was onto a good thing when you held my hair back so I could barf mid-roller coaster ride. She does look a little more mature in this image than she did in the photo. Not like a ton, but more than the like vaguely teenaged look that impression that bit got. You don't meet many people that considerate when you're dating within the forces, let me tell you. Now I think about it, that wasn't the most romantic date I'd ever been on. You still called me back up for a second date, though. I guess I must have been pretty desperate. Hey! Joking. The front panel of the storage unit looks like it's barely managing to stay shut. Could that be what that bang was earlier? Cassie's bed. It currently appears to be acting as a makeshift wardrobe. Does she move all these clothes before she goes to sleep, or do they act like an extra sheet? Or does she even have this much clothing on board anyway? So, how are you finding the gun dog so far? Enjoying the tour? The ship's pretty much the same as every other one I've been stationed on. The tour's first class, though. Maybe if working in naval operations doesn't work out, you could start your own business as a tour guide back on Europa Colony. You think so? Definitely. You seem to have all the insider knowledge already, and you've only been stationed here a few days. Imagine all the insider knowledge you could share about Europa Colony. Yeah, you're right. And over here we have the statue of the workers who built this colony. If you sneak around the back, you can get inside the plinth and hide from colony security if they catch you and your friends hanging out in the park after it's shut. Then again... You don't think that's the kind of thing people would want to know? Maybe a bit more about the workers first. Anyway. Okay, these are all nice questions. How are you finding the gun dog so far? How do you feel about being transferred from the Reliant? What do you want to do when we've got some shore leave? Okay, these are all nice conversation topics. I feel like this has got the most natural conversational flow to it. Since she just asked me how I was finding the gun dog, I can kind of volley that right back at her. So, you've been on the ship a few days now. How are you finding it? Well, it's not too bad. Obviously, it's not like being stationed on the Reliant. It's a whole lot smaller, and there's way less people. But then there's also a lot less to do, so you get much more free time. Captain Bartermuse is pretty lax compared to Captain Singh. But then I get the impression that this whole crew is a bunch of burnouts. Except for us. I obviously didn't mean that about you. Well, and since she mentioned the Reliant, we'll continue along that conversational tack. So, about your transfer from the Reliant. I know, we don't need to have this conversation. I've already had it from Captain Sink in my dismissal, and from one of the senior resource officers. I apologize if, to anyone of Sikh background in the chat, that I'm probably pronouncing that poorly. I will have to give that a look up, like what the right way to say it is. Anyway, and from one of the senior resource officers. You're wasting your potential. You would make an excellent captain if you took your duties seriously. Your academy scores were excellent. I wasn't going to give you the speech, One of the only good things about not having parents is that I don't have to hear it from them too. Hey, Cassie. And it's the absolute worst hearing it from you, because I know that out of everyone, you're probably the only person that really cares. I wasn't going to give you the big speech about it. I figured you'd already had it from everyone else. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I figured you were feeling worse than you let on. It's going to be okay, you know? A ship like this isn't the worst place to be for a while. And if things do work out okay, you can always put in for a transfer back to a bigger ship. The JCF is still building up its navy, so there'll be loads of opportunities. And if that doesn't work out, there's still your career as a tour guide back on Europa. Yeah, you know it. I'd probably make a better tour guide than a ship operator anyway. I think you'd be great at whatever you decide to do. And whatever that is... Oops, wrong expression. I'll be here to support you through it. Cassie? You're so cheesy sometimes. Hey. Oh, come here. Alright, and we'll finish the conversation with the final option. Something a little bit more lighthearted after that emotional moment. She is adorable. I feel like... I mean, we're already winning at visual novels. We've got a good romance route up and running without even trying. We started the game with her. So now that we're on the same ship, our shore leave will line up. Do you have anywhere you want to go? Anything you want to do? I hadn't thought about it. I guess this means that we'll be able to go on a lot more dates now. Oh, I know. Did you hear about that new colony they've added to the Europa cluster? It's got an ultra-efficient water handling plant, and the planners have included a water park. We should go as soon as it opens. A water park? What's that? You've never heard of a water park? Never. They're one of the coolest new features on the new colonies they're building. They're like lots of big swimming pools with slides and rivers and all sorts. All the e-magazines are saying that they're gonna be the coolest things to do on the colonies once they're open. Pools and slides into pools? But like, really exciting. Oh, okay. I guess when we're next docked, I'll see if I can book us some tickets. Awesome. So are we done here? Oh yeah, okay. This is all just the same stuff. Okay. Use Cassie's terminal, use Cassie's bed. Well, we had one thing in mind when we came to this room. Yuzu! Good evening. So it is YouTube. Use the bed, yeah. We've got to try it, right? I mean, you weren't here to see it, Mortham, but Cassie was flirting with us quite intensely earlier. Yeah, good evening, Yuzu. Thank you for joining us in the chat. But yeah, I've been messing with YouTube since the, boycott started a few months ago, and, the city of Quebec called for against Amazon. Oh yeah, Yuzu, I've got Mortham following me around like a, like a lost puppy. We're tight now. Yeah, I suspect that it didn't really hit very hard, cause, yeah, I don't know. Mortham be like that, yeah. I'm sure, a redhead will come along next, and I will be in the rearview mirror. I still got the rest of the ship to check out. I don't think there's time. Oh, did we miss someplace? What haven't we checked out? still got the... Okay, so it's saying that we don't have time to use Cassie's bed because we haven't checked the whole ship yet. What have we missed? I know, Martha. I'm absolutely messing with you. No, it's not that I'm gonna end up in the rearview mirror. It's that the redhead is also going to be added to the party bus, and I'm gonna be squeezed and like have my head hanging out the window. We've been to all these. Could go to my quarters? Okay, yeah, maybe that's what we were supposed to do. Maybe we were supposed to go to my quarters other than Cassie's. Get one of them. Yeah, yeah. The Mortham-mobile squared. As you step into your quarters, Cassandra follows you in. She stands by the door for a moment, looking around the room before turning to face you. The Mortham bus is coming and everybody's jumping. Wow, you really like to keep it tidy, don't you? I've only just got here. That's not a lot of time to make a mess. Are you kidding? I'm pretty sure my bag exploded the moment I stepped into my quarters. Javian military supplies just aren't what they used to be. Or maybe it was operator error? And what's that supposed to mean, Lieutenant? Nothing. Just considering all possibilities. Wait, is that? What? Lieutenant Ranya, don't tell me that... What? What is it? Your chair! It's not perfectly aligned with the terminal. I guess nobody's perfect, huh? I would have made more of an effort if I knew the officer doing spot checks was such a stickler. I suppose I won't have to report you to the captain this time, Lieutenant. Hey, want to see something cool? I feel like this may be a bad idea, but go on. Alright, I've always loved your sense of adventure. Now check this out. If you work your fingers under the bottom of one of the panels by your bunk, you can take it off its mountings and there's a recess behind it that you can stash contraband in. Oh! How about this floor panel? Did you know that if you use something strong enough, you can pry it open and it leads into a crawl space below the decks that you can use to get to other areas of the ship? Yep. Alright. But I bet that you didn't know that if you logged into your terminal and entered a secret code that... You can play Snake. That too. Sorry. Well, fine. I guess you probably know every secret on the ship then. Well, not every secret. But I am a security officer. I've seen and caught every trick there is when it comes to contraband. Through breaking fraternization rules or system exploits. Wait, so there are fraternization rules? It'd have to get pretty technical to get past me. Huh. Wait, how do you know all this? Oh, well, that is... Back to the tour. So what... Where did I miss? Where have we not been? We were in the hangar. Yeah, let's go to the hangar. Into the hangar. We've been to fire control. Been to the mess hall. Oh, that's right. I wasn't yet authorized to go into the armory on last sweep. So now I can probably go into the armory, and maybe that's what I need to check off the list here. You swipe your keycard through the card reader set into the terminal by the armory's door. There's a slight delay, but quickly enough the terminal flashes the message, "Access granted," and the door slides open. The first thing you notice about the armory is that the benches and lockers remind you of the changing rooms from the training center back at the military academy on Europa Colony. As you walk past them, you take a closer look and realize that they're the same kind of benches used on the larger ships you've been stationed on, the ones with sports facilities and changing rooms on board. Instead of sports clothing and equipment, these lockers are filled with a selection of combat gear, from body armor or electroshock weapons to a variety of small and light weapons. You know, this is the first time I've ever actually been inside a ship's armory. That's not really surprising. It's only the security detail that would have access. Even in a situation where a ship's expecting to encounter a boarding party, it's security's responsibility to distribute weaponry to the crew in advance. It's to ensure there's no panic and that crew don't get a hold of weaponry they're not trained to use. Huh. That's standard regulation. You should know that. Well, all I remember from my firearm training was when I dropped my electroshock weapon and accidentally zapped one of the other girls from operations. Our trainer made me use a hand-cranked battery charger to recharge all the power packs as punishment. That must have taken forever. You bet. But you should have seen my gun show afterwards. Pew pew. Which reminds me, the captain said I was authorized to collect my sidearm. I should get it whilst I'm here. Really, all there is to look at are 3 different sections of locker. Some of them being weapons and some of them being armor, it looks like. Cassandra's such a disaster. Yeah, she's a cutie. Unfortunately, kind of reminds me of the literal throwaway character from Elfen Lied. But we'll see. Maybe she'll survive a while. Maybe this game won't stuff her in a refrigerator for our main character's character development. We can only but hope. The spacesuits in here are for the ship's security detail. They're a little bit more robust than the suits handed out to the rest of the crew, for obvious reasons, but aside from that, they don't offer much of a tactical advantage. This locker contains electroshock weapons. They're non-lethal and intended to be used for crew control, in case of a mutiny or violence that breaks out for some other reason. This locker contains a variety of small arms and light weapons. They're only for use against external hostile forces. Even then, their stopping power is relatively low because of the dangers of using live rounds inside a ship. Yeah, I mean, that would be one of the scenarios that a security officer has to be prepared to deal with, I suppose. And we have our first mandatory stretch break as ordered by my superior officer, Watson the Basenji. I will... oh dear, bring my media player up. Hang on, Watson. Forgot to queue up my break time playlist ahead of time, so please bear with me just a moment. Let's use Okay. Oh, alright, there we go. And, alright. So I will be back in just a couple minutes after a quick break to stretch my legs and give the dog an outing. See you in a few, my good friends. Alright. Quick break accomplished. Dog emptied. Good to resume. Checking out some guns. Yeah. Hope you all appreciated a couple minutes of instrumentals by Josh Woodward, the artist who did the intro music that I usually play for stream, Fight the Sea. I don't know, it's fun. He's a artist that I got acquainted with from a website called Song Fight, which is kind of this casual songwriting competition held every week. Has been going on for years and years and years. And Woodward is just a long-time veteran of that. I think he eventually stepped away from doing stuff for Songfight, but that was where he cut his teeth, I guess. His style is, I don't know, it's good white guy folk, I guess. And his lyrics are often a little bit awkward, like I think he forces rhymes with sometimes without quite thinking through how it fits into the rest of the lyric, but I love his sound, and it's all Creative Commons, so I, for all of my criticisms, I appreciate his work a lot and promote it here and there on my stream. Yeah, my voice is mesmerizing. Botham, you are getting very sleepy. Okay. Use the cabinet with the electroshock weapons in it. This is the weapons locker with the electroshock weapons in. The weapons locker with the electroshock weapons in. This game, too, has occasionally some strange turns of phrase. I'm authorized to take one small weapon from here as part of my role as security officer. This one will do. You got an electroshock gun. It looks like... It's like a taser with an old school revolver cylinder? Fascinating. And it's a cylinder and grip. What's that? It's just my standard issue duty weapon for my role as security officer. It fires a barbed projectile that contains a miniature battery. It's non-lethal, but more than enough to stop someone in their tracks. I see. Absolutely not. Aw, come on! What? What was she wanting to see me fire it? Okay, so now have I seen the whole ship? Okay, so now something's happening here, alright. With Cassandra leading the way, the two of you leave the armory behind you and step into the aft thoroughfare. Cassandra pauses for a moment, looking left then right, before turning back to face you with a smile on her face. Well, that's it, Callie. Consider yourself officially acquainted with all there is to be acquainted with on board the one and only JFS Gundog. Roll opening credits. That way. You know, I was briefly thinking about this while I was winding up to start stream. It's funny that the title is Stories from Soul, like from the sun, but the like polity that uses soul as its name, or in its name, are the bad guys, right? The Earth people, the ones that we're fighting against. Most of the story has taken place out in Jovian space so far, so, or around Mars, I think. Although, wait, the very opening, I guess they were around the moon. So, I guess it was within Soul territory. Anyway, that's just a ramble. I hope you enjoyed the tour. I did. It's probably up there in my top 5 ship orientations. Top 5? Okay, you're right. Top 3. What? Maybe a triple shift to start your time aboard the Gundog is more to your taste. Well, that did happen to me aboard the Thunderbolt. So if that didn't happen, I guess it'd definitely be my favorite orientation ever. What a coincidence. It looks like your schedule's clear until tomorrow morning. Whoa. In that case, 5 stars, great tour, especially the guide. So now that the tour's over, your duties don't formally begin until tomorrow. If you want, we can take another look at anywhere on the ship, or if you want to call it a day, that's cool too. I think I'll call it a day. Yeah, I don't have anything else I really want to cover. You amused by the interactions with the protagonist and her girlfriend here, Yuzi? Yeah, it's very cute. I'm sure we are being endeared to this character just to get set up for tragedy later, but we will see. I think that's enough for now. I should probably go over the mission logs before tomorrow and get an early night. I know the captain seems pretty relaxed, but I don't want to make a habit of late starts. So responsible. I've got the late shift tonight, so maybe I'll get a nap in too. The two of you leave the aft thoroughfare behind as you both head back to your quarters. Cassandra being on board had been a huge surprise, but having spent this time with her, you found that all the anxiety you'd been feeling when you boarded has disappeared completely. You continue to chat casually about your schedules, the mission, and your plans for your next shore leave. Eventually, you reach the foreside thoroughfare and you turn down the corridor that leads to your quarters. Okay, I'll see you soon then. JFS Pew Pew Doggo, yeah. Alright, well look who it is, the Kalika Coward. Ah, okay, this is Chris. Chris? It looks Welsh, I don't know how to pronounce it, but you don't even need to look beyond Cassandra to know who's standing at the entrance to the corridor. Although you'd recognize the mocking tone anywhere, the real giveaway is the nickname, one you'd thought you'd escaped a long time ago. Handsome Chris, or as you knew him, Kalika 3. Of the members of the Kalika squadron who'd taken part in the battle, he'd been the only one to return. Even then, that had only been after the ceasefire had been signed, a full 13 hours after he'd launched. From what you'd heard from other crew members, he'd survived by playing a game of cat and mouse with the enemy forces in a debris field. By shutting down the majority of his systems and hiding amongst the wreckage, he'd been able to launch surprise attacks, taking down his pursuers one by one. The asshole is also a cutie? Okay, sure. Not one who overlooks looks and goes for personality, are you, Mortham? When he came back to the Kalika and saw your armored frame still suspended from its restraints, he instantly blamed you for the squad being wiped out. If you'd taken off when you were supposed to, he argued, the squadron would have been at full strength, enough to survive the surprise attack. What? What about tomorrow morning? No amount of technical data or arguing that it had been physically impossible for you to launch would change his mind. Oh, how long the guy was out there? Yeah, the 13 hours. Go to her bed. Be like, okay, never mind. This guy's here. I'm not going to my room. Go back to... Oh, I see. You're objecting to the fact that Cassie and I are going our separate ways for tonight. Yeah, that's too bad, right? Yeah. The destruction of the Kalika squadron was on your hands. The worst bit was that you weren't entirely sure he was wrong. Yeah, this guy, I was having Agelath voice this guy. What's up, Lieutenant Callie? You're not thinking of finishing your first day without meeting an old friend, right? Okay, but I need to give this guy a different voice. Oh god, this is gonna be difficult. Dimitri? When Haru came and told me that some lieutenant called Ranya was our new security officer, I had to come and take a look. No way could it be that wimp from back on the Kalika. She had to have been dishonorably discharged for dereliction of duty. I'm giving your wife heart attacks? What? How am I doing that? Please administer CPR first, and then explain to me how it's my fault. She likes voices, as in like different voices done for different characters, kind of thing. Understandable. But I guess the JCF is so desperate that they'll hang on to anybody, no matter how much of a screw-up they are. How'd you end up here, Ranya? They decided you couldn't handle a full-size ship, so had to put you with the smallest crew they could find? You instinctively make your hands into fists, but unclench them quickly before Hansen notices. You haven't been stationed on the same ship as him since the Kalika, but you'd run into him a few times on board the colonies while you were both on shore leave. Each time ended badly. Tell Hansen to stand down, say nothing, or push back. So... I think I've got to pull rank on this guy. Pushing back is just going to be an escalation. I don't think that's exactly tactically advisable here. Oh, you were behind him. I've wondered about that. There have been a couple of times when people have reacted to things in the chat as if they were from a few minutes past. I wonder... Have you been running into buffering? I wonder if I should, like, reduce the bitrate or something if people are having trouble with it. I'm new to streaming on YouTube. I haven't really messed with any of the technical tweaks possible there. It is a YouTube thing? Is there anything that the streamer can do about it, or is it just you just kind of gotta figure out what's happening as a viewer and refresh? Anyway, right. So pushback, that would be an escalation. I don't really want to do that. Say nothing, I don't want to roll over either. But I do think that this is not acceptable. We can't have this kind of relationship when I'm in charge of security for the ship. And this guy is, I don't know what his role is, Marine or something? I guess we'll find out, but maybe he's still a pilot. Yeah. You almost lash out at Hansen, but stop yourself before you do. The two of you are on this ship together, whether you like it or not, and the last thing you want is to let him know that he can get a rise out of you so easily. You fight the urge to just draw your electroshock weapon here and now. It'd be easy to put an end to this that way, you think, but you know that in the long term it'd probably be the worst decision you could make. Instead, you grit your teeth. Stand down, Ensign. This kind of behavior's out of line. Oh no. What are you going to do, Lieutenant? Confine me to quarters. On what grounds? Hurting your feelings? Give me a break. Where was this spine 4 years ago, huh? You're happy to throw your weight around against your comrades, but not the enemy? See what I was saying, Haru? The lieutenant here is a coward, and has been since day one. Won't fight, won't even stand up for herself. Ensign Chris, I guess is what I'm gonna say. You stop this right now. Lieutenant Ranya is... Can't stand up for yourself, so getting this ditz to do it for you, is it, Lieutenant? Chris, you stop this right now and apologize, or I'll order Lieutenant Ranya to throw you into solitary and write you up myself. You're welcome to try, Lieutenant Commander, but I don't think your security officer's got it in her to even try. You think you can take me on, Ranya? Go strong and silent. Okay, so it's basically a repeat of the options from earlier. Remind him that orders are orders, go strong and silent, or show him you mean business. I mean, he's taking our attempt to pull rank as weakness. Is it time to kick his ass, chat? Kinda wanna kick his ass. Yeah, alright. Show him you mean business. Staring Hansen in the eyes, you say nothing, but instead slowly move your hand down to the holster on your hip that holds your electroshock weapon. Sometimes authority has to be backed up by power. Yeah, I had no knowledge going into this that we were playing a sort of cop. I might have taken a second thought as to playing this game if that were the case, but if I'd known that were the case. I think that we eventually end up back in more of the mech pilot role, somehow or other by circumstances, just judging by promotional material, so that's kind of what I'm crossing my fingers for, because mech jockey is much more appealing to me than cop. Even if it's still kind of, yeah, seems likely. And in the mech jockey role, at least we're, in a fighting the hegemonic central authority of Earth kind of position, right? Yeah. Security officer was in all the descriptions. Okay, maybe I just didn't spoil myself enough. My bad. Oh well. With a slow, deliberate motion, you undo the clip and lay your hand on the weapon's grip. I suggest you do as the Lieutenant Commander says, Ensign. I'm authorized to handle insubordination as I see fit, especially when it's hostile. Hansen steps past Cassie and right up to you. With his face inches from yours, he places his right fist into his left hand and cracks his knuckles. He's so close that you can feel his breath on your face as he sneers at you. I'm surprised, Lieutenant. I didn't think you had the guts to make a threat like that. But do you think you're fast enough? Yeah, it seems like this guy has been harassing you for literal years. Indeed. It's been, I think, 4 years since the Kalika incident, since we were aboard there, and the whole episode with this guy. And yeah, whenever we've bumped into one another since then, he's been making an issue of it. Come on then, Lieutenant. What's it gonna be? You gonna show me who's boss on board this ship? You gonna make me obey that order? You wanna think long and hard about what you're gonna do, Lieutenant. Never know when you're gonna need a friend like me. I mean, we're all crewmates here, right? I'm not heartless. I'll even help losers like you out, if you've done me a solid or two. So maybe you should act like a professional for once. Or are you going to do something stupid and show the Lieutenant Commander that you're just as much of a screw-up as she is? You take a deep breath and do nothing, stand up to him, or give him what he wants. These are a little bit ambiguous. So yeah, much more restraint than many IRL people with the authority to beat the hell out of someone on the claim of they acted threatening, especially when they are acting threatening. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what is implied by stand up to him versus give him what he wants here. He wants you to assault stand. Okay, so he wants you to assault him. Mortham says take the stand up option. Okay. We will continue to attempt to thread the needle of the middle path. With Hansen's breath hot on your face, you do everything you can to not bat an eye at that last comment, but despite your best effort, your hands are clenched into fists. As much as you'd like to put 50,000 volts through him for insubordination and insulting a senior officer, you know that would be letting him win. Instead, you glare into the ensign's eyes for a few more seconds. You can almost feel Hansen's hatred for you radiating from him like an aura, and it takes all the bravado you can muster not to step down. The two of you stand like this for longer than you'd like until... Would you two knock it off already? I should have been in this posture for my model several minutes ago, but here we are. I'm on duty this evening, and I don't want to have to update the captain that both her new security officer and lead pilot are in the sickbay. Yeah, literally just a bully lashing out at the only target that won't beat him senseless or arrest him. All because their egos are too big to be on the same ship together, so both of you stand down. That's an order! Both you and Hansen are taken aback for a moment, like two school children who've been caught in a playground squabble. You turn from Cassie to Hansen and back, trying to come up with something to say. Similarly, Hansen's air of machismo has been dented by this surprise outburst. No, I don't want to hear it from either of you. You're both in the JCF, so maybe you should start acting like it. Ensign Chris, I want you to report to the chief at 0400. You're helping her clean out the organic processing filters. As for you, Lieutenant Ranya, we'll discuss this later. Hey, what? You can't. Ensign... Piss off! That's an order! For the first time since you've met him, Hansen looks lost for words. He stands there a moment, mouth agape. Yeah. Lieutenant Commander, I hear you loud and clear. Hansen thrusts both his hands into his jacket pockets, turning on his heel and heading away towards the thoroughfare. Let's avoid that particular Chanboard turn of phrase, Mortham, but I get your sentiment. He cocks his head, gesturing to Haru to follow him as he leaves. Before the pair are fully out of sight, he turns back to face the two of you. Piss off, that's an order, is a fantastic line, yeah. Good thing. Someone on this crew is able to keep everyone in line. Doesn't seem like our security officer's up to the task. With this parting shot fired, both Haru and Hansen disappear around a corner. You and Cassie stand there watching the space where they'd been. Cassie crosses her arms as she taps her foot furiously. What an absolute dick! I told you, he's a real... And you! What was that performance all about? I've told you about him. He doesn't back down. You've got to... I know. But you can't let him get to you like that otherwise he'll just keep coming. Time after time until one of you does something they regret. You pause for a moment and feel your cheeks grow flush. You're suddenly filled with a sense of shame for being caught out acting so childishly. Honestly, I don't feel like we were... like Rain was saying, I thought we were holding the line pretty tight there. But I guess to the girlfriend, that's not quite how it looked. Hey, don't worry about it. I know what the two of you have been through, and to be honest, I figured he was a real asshole from the moment I met him. Plus, he was going to be busy helping the chief clean out those filters for the next month, so don't worry too much about running into him much anytime soon. Still feeling a bit sheepish about your behavior in front of Cassie, you manage a smirk. Thanks for stepping in there. I shouldn't have stooped to his level. Don't worry about it. Just take it easy and don't let what he said get to you. I'm gonna go get ready for my shift, so I'll see you soon. Sure. I guess I'll catch you in the morning. Sounds good. Oh, one more thing. What's that? Oh. Cassie steps forwards, places her hands on your waist and stands on tiptoes, raising her face up to yours. You close your eyes and tilt your head slightly in response. Cleaning the grease traps gotta be one of the top 3 worst chores on the entire ship. I wouldn't be surprised. At the moment that her lips meet yours, you forget everything that just happened. All you can focus on is the softness and delicate warmth. After a moment, Cassie slowly moves back, and You open your eyes to find her gazing at you contentedly. You both share the same gentle smile before she steps away. I love that we've even got the, 80s visual novel, or 80s, romantic interest heel kick thing going. Yes, she literally is the canonical girlfriend at the start of the game, yeah. Sleep well, Kali! As Cassie walks away, she spins on her heels, gives you a quick wave, and then turns back, heading further down the corridor. Yes! They remembered that we see her and gave me heels. Yeah, it's cute, right? There have been a few nice little touches like that. As you step into your quarters and head over to your bunk, the door hisses shut behind you. You stand there for a moment with a smile still on your face, before you let out a sigh and sit down. Staring at nothing in particular, you mull over the day's events and Cassie's words from earlier. Big day ahead tomorrow, huh? You sigh. We'll see. April 23rd, Planetary Calendar 214. 4 days have passed since the JFS Gundog departed on its mission to rendezvous with the JFS O'Brien. In that time, her crew, including Lieutenant Kali Ranya, have fallen into the easy rhythm of life aboard the ship. Even as the Gundog enters the outer limits of divine space and is due to meet the O'Brien, there is little for the crew to do, and a general sense of routine permeates the atmosphere. Outer Javian space, aboard the Javian patrol ship JFS Gundog. You're just finishing the last of your coffee. Here, I actually have a swig of coffee from earlier, right here. I will, in solidarity with the MC, take the same action. Ta-da. As a shrill series of electronic pips begin sounding from your wristwatch. Yeah, just like a mouthful. I have mostly been drinking fizzy water. I've been being good. Proper hydration for the stream, right? Without looking to check the time, you turn off the alarm and rise from your seat, knocking back the last of your drink once you've stood up, then taking the empty cup back to the food vendor. It's easy to lose track of time on board a military ship, where the light is kept at a constant level, so you rely on a series of alarms you've programmed. You know that this one means your shift is due to start in a few minutes, giving you time to finish whatever you may be doing. You place the cup back into the vendor, where the machine latches onto it, and then retracts it into a space that is quickly sealed by a sliding panel. As the sound of muffled whirring begins, you turn back to face the empty mess hall. Time to carry out the day's security checks then. Let's see. I need to stop by fire control, the hangar, and engineering to check that everything's going as it should. Alright, that sounds like a checklist to me. Sounds like a very ordinary sort of quest to do your daily job. Hangar is right here, fire control is down the hallway, so let's bump into the hangar first. Alright, the hangar, let's see. Although you take the first few stairs normally, by the time you reach the hangar entrance, you're skipping almost every step. Gliding through the door onto the catwalk, you grab the railing and heave yourself over it. As you continue to float lazily through the wide open space of the hangar, you start your visual checks. Walkways clear, Access points marked. Munitions stowed. All the equipment and supplies seem to be where they should be. You casually shift your weight to one side of your body, causing you to begin spinning slowly. As you rotate, the glare from the hangar lights reflects off an armored frame's camera lens, almost as if it was watching you. Quickly dismissing the thought, you turn your attention back to your duties. Eventually, you arrive at the other end of the hangar, where you plant your feet on the thick steel of the main door. From this angle, you can take in everything that you may have missed, including Dalton, who you can see in amongst the storage units, his attention fixed intently on a collection of parts in front of him. Cadet Dalton, attention! The junior engineer suddenly snaps to attention the second he hears your call, inadvertently launching the pair of pliers he was holding out into the open space of the hangar. Without gravity to stop them, they continue to sail through the air. At ease, Cadet. You time your launch from the door exactly to allow yourself to grab the pliers as you float over to the startled cadet. I believe these are yours, Cadet. Ma'am, thank you. I didn't realize you were... Relax, Dalton. I'm just doing my rounds. I'm not here to check up on you. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, this kid is like... got some serious performance anxiety going on. Just jumpy as... yeah. I am at a loss for a metaphor as to what would be jumpy enough. Jumping bean. No, that's about as weak sauce as I could get. Sorry, chat. Is there anything I can help you with? Just the usual. Everything okay in here? You haven't noticed any mechanical failures? Everything working how it should? Any suspicious activity? Nothing to report, ma'am. I'm just been working on my project. Ever since Lieutenant Commander Quinn assigned Ensign Kreese to the filter cleaning, it's given me a bit of extra time to finish things up. Oh yeah, that's your high-density foam that sets rock hard, right? How's that going? That's right. It's good. I'm hoping to get the chance to test it soon. These containers are full of the compound. I'm just about to try transferring it into some empty training rounds, you know? The ones normally filled with paint? The ones that the armored frame pilots use in practice combat to show when they've hit each other. Oh. The compound's stored under pressure where it remains liquid. When removed from that pressure, it expands quickly, and with the rapid expansion, it sets. If I've got this right, then we can test it by firing the practice rounds at dummy targets. When the casing is destroyed, the compound should activate. Good news. Well, there's nothing I need to know. I'll head out. Let me know if you see anything out of place. Yes, ma'am, I will. Although, I was wondering... what's up, Cadet? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. If you're sure, Cadet. Let's try the talk command one more time, see if we can get Dalton to spill any hint of what's on his mind. Dalton, what were... Yeah! Slow down, Cadet, it's me. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I didn't realize you were still here. Don't worry about it. Anyway, you've got something on your mind. What were you going to ask? Oh, it's nothing, ma'am. Don't worry about me. Come on, Dalton. It's not exactly like I'm rushed off my feet doing the security rounds. What's up? Well, if you're sure. The chief sent a message that she wants me to head over to engineering to carry out a job. But I'm right at a critical part of the process to decant the compound into the training rounds. If I stop now, I'll have to stow all my equipment, so I'll be late anyway, and then I won't have any time, and then it'll be... Okay, slow down. What do you need me to do? Oh, sorry, I just need a bit more time. Chief's got something she wants me to do, but if I stop now, I don't know when I'll get another chance. Is there any way you could cover for me? Ah, poor kid. I'm a sucker. I'll help. I've not gotten any impression that Dalton is, like, manipulative or, sneaky or anything. Maybe I'll be proven wrong later, but this seems pretty harmless, and the chief can be a little more of a hard ass than she needs to be, so I'll take Dalton's side here. Say no more, I'll take care of it. You what? I mean, are you sure, man? Don't even worry about it. If it's something I can help with, then I'll lend a hand. If I can't, well, I'll cover for you. Don't sweat it. Thank you, ma'am. With the extra time, I should be able to get these rounds ready for testing before the next AF drills. Thank you. No problem. I'll get back to it. If the chief thinks you've slacked off for nothing, then you'll know about it. Thank you, ma'am. I'll get right on it. Cool. Alright, so we did have something we could accomplish there. Let's go to engineering next, then. So we go to the hub, the thoroughfare, and engineering. Lieutenant Ranya, entering main engineering. You declare to the cavernous expanse of machinery and access ways that makes up the engineering section. You'd been instructed to announce your arrival by the chief, and since the last time you didn't, she'd nearly dropped a filtration unit. I almost read that as flirtation unit. Filtration unit on you to prove a point you made sure not to forget. Flirtation unit. Oh no. I didn't know we had those on board the Swift class. That's the operations officer. The flirtation unit. Sorry. Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time, Chief. Right? Oh my god. Access ways clear. No visible detritus. Nothing seems to be malfunctioning. You stop midway through your visual checks. And no one's throwing heavy machinery off the higher levels to teach me a lesson in proper conduct. Mortham always keeps the flirtation units maintained. Well, lubricated, you might say. It doesn't take long for you to finish your daily checklist. The chief runs such a tight ship that you don't really expect anything less. Now that you think about it, though, she hasn't given you your daily grilling about how insulting it is that you think these daily checks are necessary in the first place. Chief? You here? Oh god, what voice did I give the chief? Up here, Lieutenant. Chief, are you around? Damn it, Lieutenant, I'm up here. No, that's not quite right, is it? That's weird. It's not like the chief to not be at her assigned duty station. I'll have to tell the Damn it, Lieutenant, I'm up here. Look up, you idiot. Looking up, you see the chief engineer leaning dangerously across the safety rail of a walkway a few levels above you. Behind her is a mass of cabling that's pouring out of an open panel above her. Oh, Chief. Good morning. Good morning yourself. I've been calling back to you this whole time. You forget to clean out your ears or something? Sorry, Chief. It's pretty loud in here. Nothing in here is running above a safe decibel limit, and if you tell me otherwise, I'll come down there and recalibrate your ears. Yeah, she is cool. Ma'am? Yeah, that was my reaction when I saw that sprite, too. You should see when she's animated. She's got a little bit of jiggle. You quickly mentally calculate the time it would take for her to get down to where you are and the time you need to get out of engineering. Although you fancy your chances, you wouldn't bet money or your ears on it. Must be me then. Anyway, I'm just filling out the daily report, Chief. What's going on up there? Ugh. One of those clowns at the colony dock who took part in the maintenance process must have done something stupid to the long-range communication system. For the past 12 hours, we've been picking up huge amounts of feedback. They must have made a bad connection, but can't find it in all this shoddy wiring. Are you sure there's nothing out here that could be sending a signal? A broadcast from the O'Brien? One of our reconnaissance satellites? No chance. This feedback is way too intense. Even a standard broadcast shouldn't produce this much noise. Unless maybe they calibrated the long-range system on the shortwave bands. In that case, the sensitivity would be off, so it would... Chief? Huh? Oh, yeah. Like I was saying, there's nothing around here that should be kicking out a signal with this kind of capacity. It's like it's picking up something with an amplitude and frequency 10 times higher than our standard equipment. Which could be the result of a processor loop? Maybe I should check out the initial conversion driver next. Okay. Well, in that case, Chief, I'm gonna let the captain know, okay? Huh? I'll put that in my report for the captain. Alright? Oh, yeah, sure. I was gonna let her know when I'd fixed it, but those dolts have done a real number on this, so it's gonna be longer than I thought. Alright, thanks for the heads up. Okay, I wonder... We probably need to engage Top Command with the Chief here to pass along the word from Dalton? Question mark? Worth a try. Oh, Chief, one more thing. Huh? Are the issues with the long-range communication system going to interfere with standard maintenance? Do I need to follow up with operations to get you some support? Depends on how badly those idiots back at Europa have fouled things up. Normally something like this should be a quick wiring fix, but can't trace back the fault. Ugh. Well, maybe the problem isn't with the wiring around the receiver. They could have crossed wires on the broadcast hardware. Yes or no, Chief? Huh? Oh, no. Today's scheduled maintenance is pretty light, so Dalton should be able to take care of it. He's not scheduled to report to me until later, though. When you go to the hangar, tell him to pack up his project and get over here on the double, you hear? Actually, Chief, now that you mention it... Huh? Dalton said that he's a little busy with his project at the moment, and that stopping would throw the whole thing off. So I'd said I'd cover for some of the maintenance tasks. Oh, he did, huh? Yes, Chief. And you said you'd cover. Yes, Chief, that's right. As the silence between you and the Chief drags on, you begin to regret offering to do Dalton a favor. Now that you think about it, what exactly do you know about maintenance? Not only is the Chief going to give Dalton grief for passing off his workload, you're going to get it in the neck for... Well, if he says he's at an important stage in his work, I'm not going to drag him away. Kid's been slaving over that project night and day. Got to admire his love for the craft. You let yourself relax. Thankfully, it looks like the Chief's got something of a soft side after all. I'll be able to pick things up here, but I've got one of his jobs that you can do for me. What do you need? The chief turns away from you and squats down, rummaging around in her tool pack for something. The batteries in the emergency spacesuit radio packs in the airlock are due for replacement. Take these and switch them out for the old ones, okay? She casually tosses 2 battery packs towards you, which you just about catch, surprised by their heft. You got the charged batteries. Roger that, Chief. Once you got the old ones, bring them back here and plug them into the power distribution module. After that, you're free to go. Swap out the batteries in the emergency spacesuits in the airlock, then bring the old ones back here to recharge. Simple. Okay, back to the aft thoroughfare, to the central hub, to the airlock. Use this. Alright, let's see. The chief said it was the batteries in the suit radios that needed changing. Firmly grabbing the locking mechanism's handle on the suit's container, you twist it 90 degrees clockwise and then pull. The door offers more resistance than you'd expected, but once fully opened, it remains in place. Reaching inside the container, you hold your left hand against the suit's rigid breast panel and grab the large black block of plastic that protrudes from the panel's left side. Okay, good night, Yuzu. Yeah, I gotta keep an eye out for when my wife's coming home from work. That'll probably be when I plan to wrap up the stream. So I hope you enjoyed your time aboard the JFS Gundog with Lieutenant Ranya. Have a good night, and thank you for joining us. With a tug, the block pulls away, trailing a curling cable that keeps it connected to the suit. As you pull it away from the suit, you flip the radio over to examine it. The bottom half of the device consists of a pistol grip with a secondary microphone and speaker, allowing it to be used separately from the suit. Your thumb rests comfortably on the push-to-talk button. The top half of the unit's underside has a backlit LCD screen, showing the current frequency it's tuned to and battery level. Below the screen sit a few ambiguous buttons. To its side is a dial for tuning and a power switch. Whilst this unit holds the main workings of the radio's receiver and transceiver, the wire that still anchors it to the suit connects it to the small microphone and speaker inside the helmet. Flipping the whole unit around to look at its underside, you see a small latch set into a recess, which you pull down on with your thumb, releasing the cover and letting the old battery slide out into your palm. Old battery out. You murmur to yourself as you take it in your spare hand, before sliding it into the opposite pocket from the fresh batteries. You got the depleted batteries. And now to put in the new batteries. Lighting up the little item button. Charged batteries. New battery in. With the battery replaced, you reattach the compartment cover, which snaps back into place. Once you set the radio onto its mount on the suit's breast panel, you step back, close the suit's container door, and twist the locking mechanism 90 degrees counterclockwise. With one down, you move to the other storage unit and repeat the process of unlocking the container, taking the suit's radio, swapping out the batteries, and then replacing everything as you found it. Great, all done. Now let's go get these back in charging and engineering. You know, these are not exciting quests, but I kinda like the structure of it. It gives a rather nice picture of the kinds of odds and ends that folks on a small crew of a starship like this might be up to. You know, it's just, I don't know, it's very slice of life. I'm kind of appreciating it. No, it's not deep drama, but sometimes you just need a little cozy. Swapping out batteries in the spacesuits. Alright, this is the life support system thingy. power distribution module. There we go. This device sends energy from the engines out to the rest of the ship. It's also got ports for charging battery packs. I should probably finish the job. Okay, so maybe I need to use instead of... Alright, here we go. Okay, so use first, then item. You take each battery that you'd removed from the suit's radio and place them in the charging ports on the side of the power distribution module. They slide in and lock into place with a satisfying clunk, and a red light right above the port lights up with an amber glow. Great. Job well done. I got an achievement for helping Dalton. Should I tell the chief that I've done the thing? Lieutenant, you sorted out those batteries yet? Yes, Chief. All sorted. Good. Not as useless as you look, Lieutenant. Keep it up. Thanks, Chief. I guess. Right. Now, we had one more place to check for our rounds, and that was fire control. So for that, we need to go to the foreside thoroughfare again. Onward to fire control. You still feel a little bit awkward checking on fire control as part of the security report. Although Dylan is always friendly enough, you can't help but feel like you're intruding on his personal sanctuary. Yeah, the chief is pretty cool. Like, the wind up to meeting her, like, really made her seem like a complete hard ass, but she's got more to her personality than that. She is a hard ass. Like, anytime somebody is, like, not pulling their weight or doing something unsafe, she really comes down on them like a bag of bricks. But get her info dumping about something, and she'll just ramble about her love of the science and engineering of things. And as we saw here, she's personable too. She's got some understanding of what other crewmates are going through. So yeah, she's just a really... seems like a person that I would love to get to know in real life, you know? It doesn't help that his headphones are so big that, short of shaking him, it's hard to get his attention. Well, here we go. Morning, Lieutenant. How's it going? Oh, hey, Dylan. Everything alright? I thought you'd be listening to your music. You're a pretty punctual lady, Lieutenant. So far, you've come by here at the exact time every shift. All I had to do was find which albums would last until just before you got here, and now I don't need to get interrupted mid-jam. That's pretty impressive. Aren't you going to get bored of listening to the same albums every morning, though? Nah, don't worry about it. I figured out about 15 different album combinations, and that's not including changing the order of play, so I'm good for this mission. Speaking of the mission, you know the drill. Anything unusual? Nothing at all, Lieutenant. Not even a scrap of debris. I've been keeping an eye on the long-range targeting systems too, and we've had a blip, but the energy readings match the O'Brien, which makes sense. Yeah, I thought so. We're so deep in Jupiter's backyard that I don't think we'll be seeing anything at all aside from the O'Brien. Pausing for a moment as you idly shift your focus from one screen to another, a flicker on one screen catches your attention. What was that? Ma'am? This screen here, it just flickered. What do the readings say? Oh, that's a long-range targeting system. It's fed with data from the long-range communication system, which has been on the fritz recently. Chief's been working on it, trying to figure out where all the feedback's coming from. Huh. Chief mentioned she was having issues. I didn't know it impacted targeting. That's the kind of thing you should be filling me in on, Gunner D's. If our targeting systems aren't operating properly, then I need to make sure the captain knows. My bad, ma'am. Since Chief said she was on the case, I figured it was all in hand. Well, let me know next time. That's it, though. Nothing else? Nothing at all. Alright, keep it up, Gunner D's. Yes, ma'am. Alright, I guess now that the rounds are complete, we go on up to the bridge and fill it in. Yep. Alright, that's all of the routine checks carried out. Time to report to the captain. I've completed the security report for today. Should I go up and give it to the captain, or should I take another look around in case I've missed anything? No, I don't have any real ambitions here. Like I could go wandering around hoping to bump into Cass, but I'd rather do that after I've got my boring checklisty tasks dealt with. Alright then, no sense in delaying seeing Captain Bartomew's. Lieutenant Ranya, entering the bridge. You declare, stepping from the elevator and throwing a salute. Looking around the room, you see Vanessa, who remains focused at her station, not paying you the slightest bit of attention, and Cassie, who stands from her station and comes over to you, a wide smile on her face. As you remain at attention, you notice that the captain's chair is empty. At ease, Lieutenant. Captain Bartomew's isn't with us, so I'm in charge of you today. A small tut comes from Vanessa. If Cassie heard it, she doesn't show it. Oh, is that right? I've come to make my report. That's right. Dr. Rosarium advised me that she'd suddenly taken ill. Yeah, I found Cassie just by trying to do my boring, questy tasks. Vanessa makes another, louder tutting noise. Cassie pauses for a split second, but quickly carries on. So he's ordered her to quarters for some bed rest. We're due to enter communications range with the O'Brien any moment now, and from there it's just a matter of coordinating our patrol paths. Nothing I can't handle. Right. The security report, Lieutenant? Oh, yeah, of course. You clear your throat, feeling a bit awkward. Although you'd been on the ship together for the past few days, you'd mainly seen each other between shifts, where rank didn't really mean much. Cassie acting seriously didn't really seem like Cassie at all. Security report for April 23rd, PC 214. No breaches or hazards to report, ma'am. No sign of immediate threats or security risks to the ship herself, and all shipboard operations proceeding as expected with little likelihood of disruption. Nothing? Well, the Chief has run into some feedback issues on the long-range communication system that are impacting the visuals on the long-range targeting system. It doesn't seem to be enough to stop normal operations, though, and she's in the process of isolating the problem area to start repairs. Cadet Grange has also completed the system to load the high-density foam he's developed into training rounds for the Juno's weapons. He's scheduled to have produced enough rounds for tests in time for the next training exercises. Oh, that's great. Good for him. But that's about it. Business as usual. Here's my written report. You reach into your jacket pocket and take a hold of the written copy of your morning report, as well as the completed checklist, which you then pass to Cassie. Once in her hands, she flicks through them casually, giving them a quick once-over. Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll get these logged. Feel free to return to your standard duties. Yes, ma'am. As Cassie turns away with the documents in hand, she glances across to a display screen showing the time. Vanessa, have we heard anything from the O'Brien? We're beyond the scheduled meetup window. Are we picking them up on sensors? There's nothing on sensors, Lieutenant Commander. Not that this interference is making things easy. I'll try scanning on different frequency bands in case the O'Brien is having the same issue. Vanessa begins to flip switches and twist dials, filling the quietness of the bridge with a series of noises that range from annoying buzzes to painfully shrill screeches. After a few moments, a communication window on the main screen illuminates, and a slightly distorted voice speaks.
Do you read? We are at the rendezvous area and have a mission update. Please acknowledge. I repeat, this is Lieutenant Bashir of the JFS O'Brien.
Lieutenant Bashir? Is he supposed to? Okay, just a shout out to DS9. That's cute.
JFS Gundog, do you read? We are at the rendezvous area and have a mission update. Please acknowledge.
That's funny, his name is... Wait, so the ship is named O'Brien. The... the communicating officer is Bashir. Got a bad feeling about this. Watched enough Star Trek TNG and DS9 to know nothing good happens to O'Brien. Yeah, the guy survives everything, but he does go through some shit, for sure. And yeah, the whole... Chekhov's gun aspect of this, where we've got these odd little communication system issues that the chief hasn't been able to fix yet. It's got to be the start of the real plot, right? This is where something is about to go horribly wrong. With Lieutenant Bashir from the O'Brien relatively clear on the communication window, Cassandra hastily grabs a microphone. Roger that, JFS O'Brien. This is Lieutenant Commander Quinn from the JFS Gundog. We are picking up your signal and have arrived at the rendezvous area. Please transmit your precise coordinates. Over.
We read you. That's a sweet voice you've got there, Gundog. I'm transmitting coordinates and mission update files now. It's good to finally...
Lieutenant Bashir? Do you read? Vanessa, are you still getting a signal from the... The comms are being overloaded. There's a powerful signal coming on all bands and it's... Ah! What the hell just happened? Is everyone okay? Commander Quinn? Commander Quinn? Cassie! Even before your eyes adjust to the minimal lighting of the bridge, you kneel down and reach out into the darkness, trying to find where Cassie has collapsed onto the deck. Oops. Stop. OBS, let go. You search blindly. Yeah, nothing good happens to O'Brien. You search blindly for a few seconds until your hand meets her shoulder and you move towards her. Cassie, hey, Cassie, say something. Cassie! Hang in there, Cassie. Lieutenant Lord, call sickbay and get the doctor up here right now. I can't. Why not? The ship's entire system has been knocked offline. Even the emergency backup systems, it's all offline. We don't have time for this. Get it back online. You rise quickly and dash over to the elevator, slamming your hand into the call button. I'm going to take Cassie down to the sickbay. You can... Aside from your voice, the whole room remains totally silent. Most conspicuously absent, though, is the whirring of the elevator that would take you directly to sickbay. You rapidly press the call button in frustration. Idiot! What part of offline do you not understand? Quinn's not going anywhere until at least the backup systems are online, but that can't be done from the bridge. What do you mean? How do we get them back online? It's an emergency failsafe. If there's a critical failure with the central computer and it can't function properly, then the entire ship will be shut down. Yep, it's time for some tubes. We're gonna be crawling on hands and knees. Which is, I'm sure, just what you came here for, Mortham. Then it enters a lockdown mode until it can be rebooted. All areas are sealed in case the shutdown is the result of enemy action. The main computer in engineering needs to be physically rebooted to restore any sort of access. Of course, since this is a security system, you should know all this. You grit your teeth to stop yourself snapping back at Vanessa. In the heat of the moment, all thought of process and procedure had left you completely. All you'd been thinking about was getting Cassie to sickbay. Placing your head in your hand, you pinch the bridge of your nose and try to focus. That's right. But isn't the order to reboot the central computer given from the bridge in that situation? Why did you say we can't? 2 reasons. First of all, this lockdown shouldn't affect backup systems. But for some reason, everything seems like it's offline, which means there's no internal communication system right now. Secondly, even if we did have the internal communication system, access to the central computer requires input codes which are known only by the captain. Or, in the event the captain is incapacitated, the second in command. Vanessa turns to look at Cassandra, who shifts slightly. As she continues to talk, you head back to Cassie, kneeling beside her and placing her in the recovery position. Feeling the cold steel of the floor as you turn Cassie over, you take off your uniform jacket and lay it over her. Which currently would be Lieutenant Commander Quinn. Meaning that right now, both the people who know the necessary information to get the ship back and running are out of action. There's got to be some way around all this. Weren't you listening? This isn't supposed to happen. We should at least have the backup systems in place. Without them, there's nothing we can do except sit around and wait for the air to run out. What about the O'Brien? Can you contact them for support? Everything is offline. What part of this are you not getting? As you kneel over Cassie, your mind races through what Vanessa has just told you. You know that she's right, and that all the ship's emergency action plans revolve around the backup systems being operational. Oops. And without them online, there's next to nothing that can be done within the ship. So I was clicking around. I don't know if that even showed up on stream. I accidentally scooted the window around if it shrunk for a moment. That's what I was trying to check on my Discord. Maybe I should use my phone to check on the Discord when I need to. Anyway, just streamer logistics things. I have but a paltry 2 monitors to work with. Your mind catches on that point for a moment, and you can't help but wonder whether whoever wrote that plan was optimistic enough that they couldn't see a situation where the backups failed. Yeah, on the one hand, I'm like, if you're gonna build a ship that's meant to go on months-long voyages out into the harsh void of outer space, you had better make redundancies for your redundancies for your redundancies, right? The backups have got to have backups, and the backups ought to have backups, and you really want to know if we are just like completely zeroed out. How do we, go crank up an ancient gas generator and start a old-fashioned portable radio kind of thing, right? On the other hand, I have watched a lot of YouTube channel called Fascinating Horror, and that gets into various disasters and tragedies, and many of them are this sort of thing where like there was something overlooked in a safety protocol, or yeah, this kind of optimistic, overconfident design in some life-critical operating system. So yeah, shit does happen. Especially if, as it looks here, there's some kind of unprecedented or hostile action going on. So it's all kind of writing the book from scratch. Or whether they were so pessimistic, they felt if those systems were out of commission, there was no real hope for the crew either. Pushing that thought out of your head, you desperately try to figure out a way to get Cassie to the sickbay. There's got to be something you know about the ship that would help. In all your time you've spent working as a security officer, there's got to be something that you've picked up that would... Yeah, Martha, you and I are both thinking, the tubes, there's gotta be an access crawlway. That's it. Huh? In the crew quarters, the panels by the bunks can be removed and replaced. People use the space in the structure to hide contraband. What are you talking about? The ship's maintenance crawlways are accessed in the same way. If I'm right, you head back over to the elevators, but this time, instead of trying to call them, you begin to run your hands over the seams in the wall panels on either side. Eventually, you notice a gap a few inches in length. Normally, maintenance would have a special tool to access this, but you can do the same thing with... I know I've got it on me somewhere. Where is it? Taking your ID card out of your pocket, you slide it into the gap in the seam until it meets some resistance when it's about halfway in. You slide it up and down a few times until you feel it stick on something, at which point you push harder. Suddenly, you hear the sound of multiple catches disengaging, and the panel falls towards you. Taking the wall panel in both hands, you place it to the side of where it used to be attached. Now, instead of solid wall, you can just about make out an absence, large enough for someone to fit inside, with a series of rungs heading downwards into a darkness which opens up once they pass by where the elevator currently sits. I think we might have found the tubes, indeed. However, my superior officer is once again requesting egress from the room, so I am going to take a stretch break and a dog leak break, and be back very shortly. It's possible that by the time I get back, it will be getting to be the hour to wind down the stream, but one way or another, I will see you in a few minutes for either a little bit more of the story or a sign-off. See you very soon. Hurrah! Alright. Thus far, no indication that the wifey is headed home from work. She might surprise show up at the front door, but it's also possible she's kind of working late. So for now, we're going to continue with a little bit more of the story, and I will wind down when the time comes. Okay. Now, right, yeah, we've already series of rungs, yep, classic Jeffries tubes, set up, How did you know how to do this? This is one of the first tricks you learn as a security officer. Ship crews get very creative with where they stash things. With these panels, it makes sense that the maintenance crawlways are accessed in a similar way. Well, great. Now you can crawl around the walls in the dark. Very helpful. You grit your teeth and breathe. You hadn't talked to Vanessa much since you first met, but you're beginning to understand why she always ate alone in the mess hall. This is interesting because Cassie was like, "Oh, Vanessa's such a sweetheart, she helps me out all the time," so I wonder what the deal is there. Maybe it's... So, Vanessa made some kind of... Oh, staticky audio? Uh-oh. Oh no. Check 1, 2, 3. Am I still here? How is the audio? Can anyone hear me? I wonder. Oh, wait. Oh, audio is back and good. Okay. So, yeah, that is upsetting, but at least I do know there is a way to fix it. It would be ideal if that didn't happen, but restarting the pipe wire service did clear the trouble. Oh well, what is VTubing or streaming in general without scuff, right? Thank you, Rain and Mortham, for alerting me to the trouble. I suppose I can try monitoring my mic and see if I detect something that. Oh no, that doesn't even come through. Anyway, something I can mess with in the future. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So yes, Mortham. As I was starting to say to get to the same theory just before the audio issues hit, and that was that yeah, because Vanessa, when you first met her, she was like, oh, you're not as attractive as I thought you were going to be. So maybe she's kind of like driven by attraction or lack thereof to different people, and she's mostly imprinted on Cassandra. If I can get in up here, it means that I can get out down in the central hub. From there, I can see if I can get the emergency input codes from the captain and make contact with the chief in engineering. Do you really think you can solve this by clambering around inside the walls? Even if you can make it to the central hub, the rest of the ship will... Lieutenant Lord, would you... Shut up, or please keep your opinion to yourself. Neither of these is exactly, polite. But they are both necessary for the situation at hand, I think. Let's be at least a little more diplomatic about it. Thank you, Lieutenant Lord. iPhone almost fixed. That's your current project? Nice. Is that the one that you showed me the other day that I memed on? Or is it a different one? You snap back, barely suppressing your anger at her constant pessimism. But right now, I don't see many other options except for this one. And for all we know, we're the only people on the entire ship who might be able to do something. Oh, you already fixed that one. This is a new one. Nice. Cranking them out.
Like you do, am I right?
I'm not about to sit around and let everyone down. Not this time. So I'm going to leave you here to look after Lieutenant Commander Quinn, unless you have anything you want to try that you think might help. Vanessa stares at you for a moment, as if weighing up what the best put-down for the current situation is. Oh, look at that face. Oof. Instead, she heads back to her station and starts flicking switches and pressing buttons on her control panel. Alright, you do that. I'll try to get the internal communication system working. Since the backups should work in a situation like this, maybe there is a way to get them back online. Get moving! Or are you going to stand around and gawk whilst I get everything done myself? You inadvertently sigh loudly as you turn around and reach out into the crawl space, grabbing a rung and then placing your foot on one lower down. Hopefully I can get things back online with the chief and the captain's help. Just look after Lieutenant Commander Quinn until then, alright? Vanessa turns away from you, continuing to just adjust the inputs on the communication system. Yeah, sure. With that, you lower yourself into the darkness, taking it one rung at a time. Once you're past the stationary elevator, you can feel the space you're in open up around you. Carrying on downwards, you reach behind you every so often to see if you can feel the catch system that would keep an access panel attached. After a few attempts to find it, your fingers eventually brush over a catch, and with some coercion, you manage to get it to release, causing the whole panel to fall off the wall behind you and clatter onto the floor of the central hub. As you step out of the crawlway, a loud banging starts from nearby. You immediately reorient yourself to face the room, placing your hand on your electroshock weapon just in case. As you scan the room in the dim lighting, the banging continues, and you realize it's not coming from anywhere in the central hub, but one of the elevators. With your hand still hovering over your weapon, you slowly move towards the noise, trying to make as little sound as possible, hoping that whoever or whatever is making it doesn't know you're there. Despite the darkness, you can see that the elevator doors are open slightly, with an inch or so gap between the two doors, because in space, we still use good old inches and feet, like Grandma taught us. As you angle yourself to try and see what's inside, your question is answered. Hanson, which one? Oh, Hansen. Hansen's the dickbag? Hansen Chris, yeah, I think.
Hey, who's out there? Whoever you are, help me get these stupid doors open. Whole thing's jammed.
You pause for a moment. You haven't seen Hansen since the other day outside your quarters.
I know you're out there. I heard you. Get over here and help me get these doors open. Hey, what are you waiting around for?
Liebe? What? Oh, leave him. Just let him hang. As Hansen continues to call out, you size up the situation. With the darkness of the room, you could easily come and go without him being able to tell that it's you. On top of that, it's unlikely that he'd be able to force open the elevator doors on his own.
Hey, come on! This isn't funny! Who's out there? Stop jerking me around!
It's petty, but part of you almost relishes the idea of Hansen seeing how it feels to be trapped and unable to do anything. You think we really should leave him? Like, my inclination is to help him because just being the bigger person and realizing this is an emergency situation, I'm gonna need the hands. But
Haru, if you're messing with me, I'll kick your ass.
Well, I did just get the word from the wifey that she's on her way home from work. So maybe let's leave it as a cliffhanger. Will we, for next time, save Dickbag Hansen or leave him to dangle? Whenever that next occasion shall come, we'll find out then. If I'm really on my game, that could be this coming Saturday morning, Usonian time. But no promises. I don't know what my schedule streaming-wise is going to look like. I'm just coming back to life and this sort of thing. I will say, though, it feels good. There's a couple of things that I tend to do when my mental health is in good shape and fall away from when my mental health is not so great, and that's streaming and writing. So I am taking it as a good sign that I've gotten a couple streams in this week. We shall see what comes of it. I hope you all enjoyed this second episode of Stories from Seoul, The Gundog. Shit's starting to hit the fan just as it oughta at this point of the story. We will see what happens next time. Thank you, everyone in the chat, Rain and Mortham and Yuzu, who's come and gone. I hope to see you again very soon. Live with honor, and your heart is unassailable. Good night.